Look! Look, the dynamic duo!
All right, so hey guys, welcome to the Dynamic Duo. I'm Franz.
I'm Kevin. Welcome to the new Batcave and Avengers Tower, everybody. Glad to see you again. Welcome home.
So Kevin, listen guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Like I've been saying, we need your support to grow. But listen, we just went to see yesterday. We went to see the Suicide Squad on its opening night in the theater, even though it was streaming on HBO. And I want to get your thoughts.
Okay. you may not like my answer.
Oh, no, please.
But I didn't think it was all that fantastic. I was a little bit disappointed.
Okay.
In all honesty, what kind of makes me say this is the excessive violence that was a part of the movie. I've said it before. I've said it in reference to things like Logan and other films that have been done that have nothing to do with comics or what have you. Excessive violence and over-the-top adult language does not make a good movie or a better film. And I think they kind of went in the wrong direction with this version of Suicide Squad. You know, there were things that I did enjoy about it, but again, I kind of think they went too far over the top with it.
Well, let me start by agreeing with you, even though I will disagree with you overall. Let me agree with you that your observation and your point is well made and well taken. And by the way, if I didn't think that, I wouldn't tell you. You're right. Excessive violence in a superhero movie, just it doesn't work. It's not necessary. They've tried it many times, both in the comics and in the movies, and it's never really worked. And I will agree with you that this movie, you know, there are some movies that get the R rating because of material that's within it, and technically because of the material that's within it, they get an R rating, whether it's a particular set of violence, somebody's head gets blown off, or a particular nudity that's in the film, and it wasn't meant to be R rating. They weren't trying to be R rating, but they got an R rating. There are other movies where they're looking for the R rating. They want to be R rating because they want to be special. They want to be, you know, mature. They want to be, you know, edgy or whatever the case may be. And they're looking for the R rating, and they then have to prove their R ratingness. They have to show off their R ratingness. And they do violence for the sake of the R rating. They do nudity for the sake of the R rating. Now, let me just show you how much more special I am than movie B over here. They do cursing, excessive cursing for the sake of R rating. I will agree with you that some of the violence, some of the nudity, some of the cursing was excessive, and it looked as though it was trying to be something, like it was trying to show off the R rating. It was done for the sake of doing it rather than just natural continuity of a story. I will agree with you that 1,000%. Having said that, while I believe it was a little bit excessive, it wasn't terribly excessive to me. It wasn't. So now that we're in the excessive category, it could be really bad, or it could be kind of excessive. For me, it falls under the kind of excessive category, and the humor contrasted it and made it a little bit less for me, less excessive and more acceptable and more palatable. The problem that I have with this movie is that it eliminates a set of audience automatically. Like, I wouldn't take my 5-year-old to go see this movie. I wouldn't be comfortable doing it necessarily, even though it's like a minute difference. But I may not be comfortable sitting in my you know, in the theater with a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old boy or girl watching this movie, because it just goes places that it doesn't need to go to. Um, having said that, having said that, I did enjoy the movie overall. I really did. I thought it was fun. I thought it was funny. And the humor in this movie that I appreciated and I respected was, and compared to Thor Ragnarok, you
Have to put it up there.
compared to the Thor Ragnarok, compared to the Thor Ragnarok humor, the difference is that in this movie, things are happening that are funny and that the characters react to like as bewildered as we, the audience, would. Like, what the hell did you just do? And it's funny. That thing is funny, as opposed to the characters trying to be funny, doing slapstick comedy and doing silly, stupid things. That the movie has never, Suicide Squad didn't do that. None of the characters ever broke character. None of them were doing necessarily slapstick, but a lot of the stuff that was happening was kind of funny, and it made me LOL. It made me laugh out loud. So I appreciated that. I appreciated I appreciated the character development, and it was sometimes a little bit too much, but I appreciated the character development because by the end of it, what it did is it made me care about what's happening to each character. It made me kind of know the characters, particularly from characters that frankly I never read about or I never, knew. So it made me kind of connected to them so that when something happens to them, I care a little bit more rather than just cannon fodder type of thing. And so I appreciated that. I like the story. But what sold me the most about this movie, what made me appreciate this movie is the end. And I'm a sucker for the hero. I really am. And it's trope, it's canon, but I just love it when the hero makes the cause greater than himself or herself. And when they say, you know what, I'm going to step in and do the right thing regardless of the price. I get that every single time. And so in that scene, and we want to, I guess, make it a non-spoiler review, but in that scene where that decision is made, I was really on board, and everything that happened from that point on mattered, and I cared about it. And the action was well delivered. It was exciting. It was fun. It was good. Is it my favorite movie? No. Is it something that I would list as a great movie or something that you must see? No. Is it a fun movie that I enjoyed? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, to your point, if and I agree with everything you said. I even though I didn't enjoy it as much as you do, I have to admit the points that you just made are incredibly valid, and you hit the nail right on the head. The thing is, I have to admit, I enjoyed a number of the strong performances from the actors. I thought that Idris Elba did a fantastic job. Margot Robbie delivered. Okay, it's a matter of being able to look at them, even though this is a comic book involved movie, and say, okay, the performances are really solid. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing exactly in the future, because I do believe they're going to do a third one, even if the audience doesn't completely gel with this and follow it for the rest of whatever this may be. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Amanda Waller without giving anything away concerning her performance. Okay, I want to see it. And what I would honestly love, and I thought about this after I watched the movie courtesy of HBO again last night. What I think they should do for a third film, as twisted as this may sound, is to get a couple of the heroes from the Justice League and force the two sides together. Have something happening that cannot be ignored, And it turns out that the good guys need the bad guys, and they're pushed together in order to combat whatever is wrong. I also realized something else last night because I watched the original, with Jared Leto, Robbie, Will Smith, etc. And I immediately watched the new one again. Part of why we got the excessive violence and everything that we did, because I remember talking to friends, co-workers, etc., that had seen the first one. The excessive over-the-top portions of this are a response to what people wanted from the very first time, and they didn't necessarily get it. One of the things that I think some people may end up complaining about, and I'm not joking about this, is that although there is nudity in the movie, I think some people are going to be upset that Margot Robbie kept her clothes on. Because a lot of people, one of the reasons why folks were jumping up and down about the first film is the way that she was dressed the first time out. And I've read a number of interviews. I've listened to her talk about when the original Suicide Squad was done. She was never happy about that, but she went along with it. She did not like the Daisy Duke, hot shorts or the fishnet stockings and the high heel, boots or whatever. That didn't fit with her. And part of what I think she's doing as an actress is trying to change her image, even though she's done nudity and been a part of that portion of what things are about. She's gotten to a point where I believe she's trying to pick more sophisticated roles for herself. And as I said, I think a couple of people that are Margot Robbie fans, or at least fans of we just saw portions of Margot Robbie again that were not meant for a general audience. I think a couple of people are honestly going to be upset because, as I told you yesterday, she wants out for the character, or at least wants a vacation from playing Harley Quinn.
Well, you've said a lot of things, and I do want to address them all. And I always pay attention to what you're saying rather than think about what my response is going to be. So let me see: Idris Elba, Amanda Waller, Justice League, and Margot Robbie. Those are the topics that you brought up. Idris Elba, I gotta agree with you. That performance, I'm going to go ahead and say it's his best performance in a movie that I've seen. He's a terrific actor. Everybody knows that. And he has that it factor. But I don't think it's ever really truly worked in any of his movies, at least not in any of the movies that I've seen. It was like potential. Like I could see where it could go, but it never quite delivered 100%. Not necessarily his fault, but in my opinion, it never did. I think this movie, it does. He is cool in this movie, and I'm a fan of his in this movie, and he totally sold me in every way in this movie. I liked his performance very, very much as I did Amanda Waller's performance. That character is fascinating to me, and the delivery of the actors. Again, we've talked about this before. I'm fascinated by acting. I really am, because the simplest gesture or non-gesture either works or doesn't work. Like a bad actor could just literally be standing there listening to someone talk, and you could tell that's a bad actor. And a great actor could sit there and literally be doing nothing, and you just think, wow, this is a solid performance. I'm trying to get the fine tune, like, what is the difference? I don't know what the difference is. But Amanda Waller and Idris Elba, and I forget I have a terrible memory. I forget the actress who plays Amanda Waller, obviously a great actress. They just bring it, that she's just solid. She's just solid. And I love the Amanda Waller character because it's a complex character. It's the character that says, it's essentially, if you think about it, she's like, gosh, what's his name? the character in one of the Suicide Squad with the helmet.
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker, yeah, exactly. If you think about it, she's Peacemaker. In other words, she's gonna fight for peace no matter what it takes, and she's ready and willing to go there. She's another version of Peacemaker, and that's who she is. And that's a complex character because ultimately they're trying to do something good, but the way to get there is pretty horrible type of thing. And so I love that character. And I'd like to see her developed a little bit more. The Justice League that you brought up, I hear you. I would even do a little bit of a different take. The way that I would envision it, to be honest with you, would be if the Suicide Squad, instead of having a traditional team up or the Avengers need the Suicide Squad, what I'd do is I would have the Suicide Squad face a threat that they can't overcome, which they did in this movie. And then I'd have the Justice League come and kind of like save the day.
Okay.
I'd have them look up under why they can't take it anymore. My God, this is over. And they'd look up and Superman would be flying down from this. Here comes Superman. I'd like to make that differentiation too. Actually, put the superheroes on the pedestal that they deserve to be, because they're all better than the Suicide Squad. You know what I mean? And so that's the way I'd like to see it. Last but not least is Margot Robbie. I thought her performance, again, she's a terrific actress in my opinion. And I thought her performance was solid. It was fun. It was everything that it needed to be. If anyone has an issue with her not wearing a skimpy outfit, frankly, I don't think she should care. And I certainly don't care. I think that would be stupid for anyone to do. And I really don't anticipate that. I really don't. Harley Quinn doesn't have a traditional superhero outfit. She has many different outfits that she wears. She has many different looks. But Margot Robbie transcends the costume, perhaps more than any other character for me. She is such the character that she could be wearing a nun's outfit and it would still be Harley Quinn for me. So anyone who would have a problem with her not wearing outfits, to me, that's just stupid and ridiculous and not worthy of a response. And I could get why she would be tired of the character. I kind of get it. And I get it. If as an actress, she wants to not rely on showing the Daisy Dukes and the low cut cleavage stuff. So yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Because it doesn't deter. Right. It doesn't deter from the performance, and it doesn't deter from the character. So I don't have a problem with that.
And just to clarify, before we went yesterday, I had talked to a couple of different people, and the only reason why I mentioned the whole thing about how risque and revealing they were making her costumes and what have you is because I had talked to a couple of people, and that was the first thing they said. Oh, I wonder if they're going to bring back her high heel boots and the fishnets and that kind of thing. It's already out there.
Wow. But I mean, obviously, there people think whatever they think. I don't think anyone, and not every thought has to be taken seriously. And personally, for me, anyone who has a problem with that is not worthy of a discussion for me. It's such a stupid, petty thing that it's not worthy of a discussion for me. It's just not. You're too stupid for me to answer you. Like, watch a porno movie. You know what I mean? Like, go do something else. Don't. First of all, no, it's not worthy for me.
Right.
And if as an actress, it's one thing. Listen, if, like, for example, Power Girl, or she has a pretty risque outfit. If as an actress, she said, I don't want to wear that costume, I want it to be changed into something else, then I would blame the actress and say, look, clearly you don't fit this role because this is the character. Either you accept it or you don't. But if as an actress, it's not the character that she's attacking, and she just says, look, for example, some actresses say, I don't want to do nudity. I respect that. I can't blame them for that. And since Harley Quinn does not require the fishnet outfit, that outfit was created for the movie's sake, more so taken from the comic book. or from the animated series. Yeah, I respect it. And anyone who doesn't is too immature, too petty, and too stupid for me to care about. I'm sorry. That's dumb to me. I mean, I don't know if you agree or disagree, but
no, I do, and I completely understand your point. I mean, even when I was carrying on the conversations with the folks that I'm talking about, and I'm not going to cough up any names or anything.
Of course.
My response or answer back to them was, why is that important for what you're going to see in the movie?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and
exactly.
for one thing, it's not fair to her as an actress, as a person, anything.
Exactly.
It's just not.
Exactly.
You know, and unfortunately, like I said, it all stems from the fact that when she first started out, she was doing the risque thing and what have you. And that's what people expect her to keep doing.
But listen, great review. You guys enjoyed our review, and let us know if you agree or disagree. Are you team Kevin, who didn't quite like it as much, or did you guys enjoy it as much as I did? Kevin, we've got some great news, and guys, we've got some great news for you too. We are going to have as a guest none other than Marv Wolfman. And listen, if you're not excited about that, then clearly you don't get the show. So Marv Wolfman is going to come and do an interview with us. We had the pleasure and the privilege of doing Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends, and now we're going to be talking to Marv the Man Wolfman, and we're absolutely looking forward to that. Join us.
We'll see you when he does.
This looks like a job for Superman.
Hey, look! It's Spider-Man!
The dynamic duo return next week. Don't listen.